na to?
Episode 11? Takin.
Rise of the Clones. Ay, hindi.
And this week,
Sino
we've got
ba?
another awesome Tunay Na Rider guest. But last week was pretty fun. We had
Oo.
Cara
Oo nga.
David.
Madami tayong natutunan doon.
Grabe, pare. We have been blessed with having some of the most badass, hardcore, brilliant women on our show, na riders. Yeah, we had a lot of fun chatting with Cara. Ano bang mga natutunan natin?
Huwag itatakas ang motorsiklo ng tatay mo.
Lalo na kung limited edition Ducati.
Kumain na maayos.
Kumain ng maayos. At sumama ka sa mga kaibigan mo na hindi ka gugutumin.
Makakamakin. Oo.
'Di ba? Ganon,
oo,
malaking
tama.
bagay yung tropa. And speaking of tropa, one of the people that Cara was talking about is going to be our Tunay Na Rider of the Week, and we'll introduce him later.
Sino kaya yan? Oo. Abangan.
Hey,
Oy, may mga
Ronnie.
online na, oh.
What up?
Online, no?
Sabi
Thanks
niya,
for dropping
smiley
by.
prayers.
Smiley prayers. You know what? Those are powerful emojis that we should live by. Everyone, smiley prayer. Eggplant. Wet.
Peach. Sala mo ito yung peach.
Peach. Para maganda na tayo magsalita. Ayun, may
Wala ba? Egg,
motor.
sausage.
Tatlo yung motor ni Ronnie. Pero sobrang liit.
That's what she said.
All right.
3
So,
minutes.
yeah. 3 minutes. As usual, Buck, paano yung mga raffle natin? Raffle.
Okay. Ayan, dami natin raffle mamaya. Like, subscribe, and share. And,
All right.
and don't forget to
To
Ano
follow
yun?
up.
Like
subscribe,
our page.
share, like,
this stream.
like,
Public.
Make it
share,
public.
Tapos i-follow up mo sa amin.
And
tapos
then
follow up
please
mo tayo.
message us if you've won.
nakakalimutan.
Marami kaming utang. So, yun. Si Ruel Maranan. Ito na ako. Raffle
Raffle
na. Yes, Ruel. This is your night. I have this weird feeling. Kasi lahat ng mga kaibigan ni Ruel nanalo eh. Free delivery. Ako pa mag-deliver, Ruel. O si Jolly o si Buck.
Drone.
Pili
Lagyan
ka pa
natin
kung
sa
anong
drone.
motor gagamitin pang deliver.
Ayun, si Cesar Tolentino, si Big Bird.
Good
yun ang-
evening.
What's up? Cesar, why are you called Big Bird again? Or I don't want to know.
Iba, don't ask question.
Don't ask
You
questions.
won't,
Because what
yung
happens on
mga-
rides stays
Stays
in
on
the
ride.
ride. Hindi mo iuwi yan sa family. Ayan, si...
1 minute and 20 seconds. Ba't
Yan.
parang
So,
lasing pakiramdam?
kasi wala kaming pera. Yung mga... Oh, yun. One of our big supporters, Alvin D. Happy
Sponsor natin
anniversary, Mr. D. One of our partners, friends, and guests. All around yan.
Alam na kaya ni Alvin na kinuha natin ng tarp ng Turatek?
Sinumbong na ni Kitoy eh.
And nagtayo kayo ng pirated Turatech branch in Teachers Village.
Si Jolly lang yun.
Binaba ko na nga eh.
Pinagalitan ka ba ni
sinita eh.
Toto? Talaga?
Yung dumadaan daw siya pa uwi.
Ayun, si Archie Garcia, katropa rin namin nila Alvin. What's up, Archie? Archie is now, sobrang icon si Archie sa motoring world. I think
Oo.
now he's with BMW.
20 seconds.
Okay lang daw, sabi ni Alvin.
Alvin. Timer. Kuha pa tayo ng tarp.
Hindi. Hindi ba nakakabit sa likod mo ngayon?
Ha?
Dati nakakabit sa likod mo yung Turatech tarp pa.
Oo nga.
Masyado
Hindi,
daw
sa
maliit,
garahe ko.
Alvin. Kasi naambunan daw siya sa garahe.
Malakas pa ng ulan ngayon.
Diyan na ako, may space ako sa likod ko. Naka-reserve na.
Oh,
si
yun.
Sid
Oh.
nandito.
Direct Sid will be our guest in a couple of
Yo.
weeks. Hey, Direct, what's up? So, this week on Tunay Na Rider, our episode, we're gonna have our Tunay Na Rider of the week, which we'll introduce shortly. From this point on, I think puro mga gwapo na. Kasi we're done with brilliant
Ayun.
women. We've had more brilliant women on this show than we have had guys, right? So I think for the next couple of shows, we got to balance it out. Yeah.
Lalaki naman.
Yep, with some good-looking guys. Brilliant women and good-looking guys.
Mas good looking sa atin.
Lahat naman pare, pang radyo tayo. That's why podcast tayo.
Kaya nga podcast tayo eh. Hindi natin sinasadya magkakaroon tayo ng video eh.
Dahil sa COVID lang tayo nagkaroon ng video kasi wala ng studio na pang recording. All right. So, sorry. Gulo nyo? Okay, so we will have Mi Moto by Buck Pogi Pago.
Unahin ba natin yun?
I guess.
Oo.
And then we'll end up with Oro Plat. We'll do the Tunay Na Rider of the week. Then we'll do Mi Moto with Buck Pogi Pago. And then
may inip sa backstage yan eh.
Yeah.
Oh,
and then we will have
sa backstage eh.
Oro Plata Moto with
Jolly
engineer Jolly Alarcon. And we'll be talking about the top 10 weirdest motorcycles Honda has made. Because we've got 2 of those bikes in our personal garages. Uy, Archie Garcia says, I love Tito X. Lahat na ba tayo Tito?
Tito X.
Si Jolly lang yata yung hindi.
Millennial ako eh.
Hindi na.
Wag mo na ituloy yun. All right, so for our Tunay Na Rider of the week, we will have one I think one of the most hardworking, hands-on. He's one of those guys na manly men, pero a real gentleman. Diba?
Pwedeng model ng handyman at saka Ace Hardware.
He's a veteran broadcaster, and I always see him at all of like the big motorcycle events. Siya yung host. And he's also the host of like a couple of live streams and YouTube shows like Man Cave, which I watch. I've bought some of the things he's kind of showed off in that show. And we've got the one and only Paolo Abrera. Woo! Dapat pala Sabado night guest to.
Sabado night guest.
All right. We should have a sound effect for that. Hey, Paolo, what's up?
Hey, guys. Good evening, everybody. What's up?
Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for the invitation.
It is our pleasure. And medyo feeling ko last show, umiinit yung tenga mo.
Bakit?
Panay ang kagat ko sa dila ko. So naisip ko, parang binabanggit ang pangalan ko. Madalas yata banggitin ang pangalan ko. So I tuned in, and true enough, parang kinikwento ni Cara yung misadventures namin with her dad's bike.
So I mean, we're professionals, so we will air both sides of the story.
Tayo dito.
Parang tayo, Boy Abunda or whatever yung mga shows na ganon. So, Tulfo. And then lalabas si Cara. Ikaw kasi.
Next week, face-to-face na.
Mga away tayo ng barangay captain.
Okay, so Paolo, what happened? What's your side of the story?
I mean, which particular aspect of this story are we dissecting here?
All right, so quick recap. Cara was sharing some of her motorcycle misadventures, and one of them entailed her riding with some friends, not being fed. And
Kumain naman.
hindi daw siya pinakain eh. Parang diretso daw yung mga gwaping sa track and then ride na sila. Diba?
Na-excite sa track.
Oo. And then she took a slight spill and the only person daw who stopped to check on her was Paolo. Yan,
Uy.
gentleman.
Uy.
Pero then tumakbo
Inabutan
ulit
ko-
sa track si Paolo.
Inabutan ko ba siya ng hamburger at that point or hindi pa rin?
Hindi pa
Kasi yung mga
rin
ride namin with
yata.
Cara always end up with great food. So all of our rides end up with just a lot of great food.
Okay, well, I am mortified that we didn't think of feeding Cara something delicious before, during, or after post ride.
Ba't wala after?
It didn't occur to us. Gaya sarap nila ni Bucket Jolly. Medyo diretso, straight ride, high five, ayos, okay, uwi na tayo. I can't remember. I think it was Ivan Mayrina. No, who's also, I don't know if you have you guys had him on. He's also
No,
an
not
avid
yet.
motorcyclist.
Yep.
Medyo nagbalik motor siya ngayon this year, and
Oh, wow.
ito medyo this was years ago. Maybe, I don't know, maybe 8-10 years ago or so. Medyo kainitan ng pagmumotor namin nila Ivan, and I can't remember. I think he was the one who invited her to the track, or did we just? It was just a coincidence that we met her there. I can't remember. I can't even remember.
Well,
But
she
yeah,
remembers.
it was. It must have left some very bitter memories with her. Our apologies, Kara.
All right. So we've got Paolo's side. Paolo, what you've been in the motorcycle scene for quite a while, no? All of the big events I see you there. It's either you're emceeing for Sir Hill, who's watching right now, or
What's up?
checking out beautiful bikes and supporting the scene. What got you into riding?
I think for many, guys who are into riding now, we probably all started the same way. Bata pa siguro tayo. We probably had some little dog-eared poster of a motorcycle up on our walls when we were far too young to actually ride one. And siguro sabi natin lahat, pag laki ko, magkakaroon ako ng ganyan. And I was always fascinated by the motorcycle. I always thought it was apart from astig siyang sakyan, diba? It's a cool thing to ride. I always thought that they were beautiful machines. That they were, they had short of removing one wheel, everything that needs to be there. Kumbaga, you've got two wheels and a motor and an engine, somewhere to sit and somewhere and a way to steer it. Yung kotse, it's the same thing except kinailangan pang dagdagan ng dalawang gulong. It's the bare minimum of of a rideable machine, and it's I don't know. There's something to be said about how simple and basic that is. It's a great formula, and I think it appeals to guys. And medyo, I finally indulged myself when I was a working student in Australia for college. I had moved there for my college, and medyo working student. I couldn't afford a car, so motorcycle was what I ended up getting. But the funny thing that really pushed me towards it was I moved to Sydney when I was 17, turning 18, and so I got my license there. Wala pa akong lisensya dito sa Pinas, and I moved I moved there.
Madami naman wala eh.
Hindi ko tama.
Wait.
Pero yung point was, hindi ko maipasa yung driving test. I took it twice and I didn't pass. The fact that they drive on the opposite side of the road may have had something to do with it, but hindi ko siya maipasa. So they said, look, you can't take the test for another, I think it was another few weeks or another couple of months or something. So relax ka muna. And I said, okay, well, shit. I mean, gosh. College
Golly
student.
darn it.
Gosh, golly. college
Demonetized.
student, no wheels, hindi ka pogi nun. So
Oo.
the next most obvious thing to do was to consider another mode of transportation or another level of licensing, which was a motorcycle license. So I went and took the test for a motorcycle license and passed. And it worked out great because I couldn't afford a car anyway. So I would pauuwi rin ako sa hihiram ako ng auto sa tita ko on the weekend or something. But when I broke open my piggy bank and found found I had about $250 in there, I bought the most decrepit bike you could think of. It was early 80s, Suzuki GSX 250. Medyo,
Oy.
it was $250 and it was it was really
$1 per
what do you
cc.
call it? There you go. And it was really like the doors to freedom had opened, I had just gotten my license. I was legally an adult. I was living in another country and somebody handed me the keys and it was this amazing freedom machine that allowed me to go where I wanted to go, be where I wanted to be. And also it was the most decrepit bike in the world. So I also had to because going to a mechanic was expensive, I also had to figure out how to keep it running. So siguro doon na rin ako medyo napahilig sa pangangalikot. And out of necessity, and the rest is history. I was just taking stock of that, Sabi ko nga to a couple of friends, it's been 31 years or so since I got my first motorcycle, since I got my motorcycle license. I've been riding on and off for about 31 years, and that's a long time.
That
I don't
is
know
a
if that's
long
something.
time, man.
I don't know if it's something to be proud of. I don't know if it's something to be proud of or something to be embarrassed about.
Wait, so this is the first time this has ever happened. I'm sorry. I just need to call it out. So you've got some really like rabid fans, dude. Somebody just posted in the comments.
Sino ba tong mga rabbit na to?
Sumasabog na sex appeal niyan. Wow.
Grabe naman si Archie. Ba't niya naman?
Oo nga.
Ito, kilala ko to. Kilala ko to. Ano to eh?
What ba to?
Sino ba to?
Fake account to, bro. Fake account.
I-report natin. Report natin.
I-report ka.
No, you know what?
Facebook.
I asked everybody's got their crew, right? So I sent a message to them and I said, guys, naman kayo. Tunay Na Rider. They said, yo, we watch that. So there they are. Ayan na sila. Batiin naman natin. Bukang sabik na sabik sa konting pansin mga small time kasi itong mga to.
Okay, well, I mean, if they're asking for a shout out to Jericho Rosales.
So who? Sino ba yun? Who
Shout
you?
out, Echo.
Who you?
Si Ryan lang daw ang totoo na
Jerry
rider.
Rosales.
Magandang kwento rin yan.
Alright,
Shout out sa mga totoong tao. Yan. Actually,
Mga
shout out
fake
to all the guys I roll out with. I can see them here now. Javi, Olives, Echo, of course, Direct Sid. You guys already noticed that he was on board.
Mainit na si
sino ba
Direk.
mga kilala natin dyan?
Thanks, sir.
Yeah, all of our friends, guys. Thanks for tuning in and
Sorry, kinikilig ako
Some people have it and some people don't, bro.
Grabe
Eat your
yung mga
gulay,
fans
baka eat your gulay, baka pumogi ka rin one day.
Meron sa Lazada niyan.
Sorry, na-distract ako. Na-distract ako sa sex appeal ni Paolo and yung mga nanonood sa atin ngayong gabi. Medyo...
Bro, ingat sa pagtayo baka matapid ka sa panty mong nalaglag, okay?
Oo nga, dapat naka-off yung camera ko ngayon.
Yung iba stoic lang lagay na pero sa totoo lang, nangingisay na yun eh.
All right. So, your first bike, and I think your story actually mirrors a lot of the same experiences of people all over the world, even in the Philippines. Like in a family, in the Philippines, you're stuck with our horrible infrastructure for commuting, right?
Mhm.
And then when you get that first motorcycle, all of a sudden you are empowered. All of a sudden the world becomes much bigger and accessible. So it's not just like an
Yeah.
Australia thing. That first bike story is actually universal.
Yeah, I agree.
It's an icon of freedom.
Yon.
Yun. I
Masyado
think
bang Western?
Exactly.
and I think it's always carried certain connotations, and I think we actively court that. It's got a rebellious attitude. It's got a it's everybody else drives a car. I ride a motorcycle. Parang that's still there, but more and more it's faded away. I think it's become the great equalizer in terms of just any kind of mobility, plain mobility. Nowadays, God, everybody's got a scooter, everybody's got a motorcycle, and it's just become one of the most affordable ways to move around, whether by yourself or, as we've seen, minsan tatlo, apat nga. It's not the safest thing to do, but it's become the new family car. It's become the new family car, diba? It's really it's really the way that people have opened the doors to freedom, to going where they need to go and being where they need to be.
All right. So now that we've got, and it's a good segue, we've got your riding buddies here, the Brap Pack.
Yeah.
What's your, and you guys
Brat
share
Pack?
a lot of awesome rides. For you, what is your most epic ride, man? Was it with these guys? You're super fan?
Super fan.
Naisip ko yan kasi naisip ko, teka, ano bang sasabihin ko dito para, so that it's to be perfectly honest.
I mean, hindi kayo cafe racers. You guys really ride. It's not like you go from Starbucks to UCC. You guys do some epic rides.
Yo, there are days when we do that as well, and
Yeah.
that's legit. That's legit as well. Everybody's got their own kind of ride. If we're talking about a memorable ride with these guys, because alam mo kasi si tulad namin, super busy kami all the time shooting movies, making music videos, releasing records. People like Jericho Rosales, tambay lang yan
Sabi niya,
sa bahay. Yung mga tao like Echo, mga nakatambay lang yan sa bahay. So ang hirap mapagkasunduan yung schedule namin kasi kami super busy kami. All right, it's the other way around. It's hard to get everybody's schedule to match. So one of the rare times when we had, maximum attendance was a ride a couple of years ago, and all these guys were there. Echo, Javi, Archie, Ryan, Drew Aureliano, all the guys, sila Toddy. When we went up to Sagada, and that was memorable, simply because it was an awesome ride, a great route.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact na medyo nabuo kami for the first time, sama-sama kami, and marami kaming nakapag-attend on this ride. So that stands out as an awesome ride.
So this is probably one of our most highest engagement streams ever. All of your super fans have their own suggestion as to what your most epic ride should be.
But see, because
Jericho
these guys,
Martisem, and he did it twice. So Echo said Martisem twice. Three times.
Wow.
So he's really passionate about Martisem.
Siguro kahit nakapikit na siya, kaya na niyang i-ride yan, no? Kabisado.
And great taste coffee. And then Javi saying San Juanico, which is a great ride. That's pretty epic also.
Right.
And Sid Sid is saying we've never ridden complete.
Yeah, 100% attendance on a major ride, wala pa.
Yung sa Sagada, hindi kayo kompleto nun?
Kulang si Odi nun. Most epic ride, Petrons. Ang kukulit naman. Patayin na nga natin no comment section na to.
Pwede kayo gumante kay Sid next week.
No, but these guys, the rest of the Brat Pack, I was actually absent on a couple of isa-isahin mo na, bro. You got to invite all of these guys on because they've got some great stories. They've been on a
Sabay-sabay.
couple of awesome, pwede. They've been on a couple of awesome rides na hindi ako nakasama. Like, one great one is the Guante San Monico ride that they're talking about. The Jericho, a tribute ride for his dad.
Yeah, yeah.
And
I saw the video. That was beautiful.
Sadly, I wasn't able. Yeah, so there's so many stories that these guys could tell you. So de hanggang dito na lang ako. Sila na lang yun.
I think umalis na si, ano.
Ha?
Okay, dyan
Fine.
nagtatapos ang
Fine. Ikaw na ang pinaka-pogi dito,
episode na
tsaka
to.
ikaw na ang pinakamadaming ride.
All right, yeah, but I agree. Sagada is a staple.
Ganda.
There,
Yeah, it's
there aren't
it's one
that
of
many
those
rides that are better.
rides. You know, it's not so much cliche, but it's really not so much about how far you go or how, you know, how iron butt that ride was or how many days you were out. And they're just some even short rides. Sometimes the flow is there. You know, sometimes you know, parang every curve you take, kada kurbada mo parang wow, swak, and everything just flows and comes together. And it might have just been. You know, it might have just been up and down Tagaytay. It might have just been
Yep.
Canyonwoods. It might have just been, you know, a couple of weeks ago we did, dahil tigang na tigang kami for a ride. We finally managed to go out and do Nasugbo, Canyonwoods, and up, Talisay. And, you know, that was just super.
Yeah,
It was
yeah, that's
the
a great
fact
ride
na
also.
ang tagal na namin hindi nag-ride. Plus, it was just one of those days where everything was flowing right. You know, no major dramas. You left the house, you went on this epic
May
ride,
minor
you're back
dramas.
home. Tapos, yes.
Siyempre,
Ano yun?
hindi kompleto ang ride na walang drama.
That's true. The rides you
Ah.
remember, the ride tama. The rides you remember are the ones that there is a little bit of drama because it's not adventure if
Right.
everything goes smoothly, right?
Right.
There has to be a bit of a
well,
challenge.
I mean, like the Sagada ride was good because there was a funny section there na alam mo naman yung there's some curves there na malumot, di ba?
Oh
Na
yeah.
medyo,
Oh yeah.
you know, there's not a lot of traffic and medyo the curves are nice, medyo bulaga. And so we took a curve and we hit some moss and everybody, it just parang happened in slow motion. 1 second we were coming through the corner. The next section, nawala si Javi. The next section, Drew was sliding down the road. The next section, Ryan was on his ass. And parang karambola. It was just this 1 second everybody was there and the next second everybody was on the ground. And teka, hiniram lang pala namin yung mga GS noon. Nandiyan pa ba si Hill?
He'll watch
Wala
us
kasi yun.
regularly.
Naku.
Or baka
Andito
si Archie.
Ay, si Archie pala. Hindi. I mean, Archie took a spill on that ride too, and he was riding something else at the time.
Si Archie?
yeah. Archie took a spill on that ride.
Baka
and
nakikisama lang yan.
nakiuso, no? Parang, teka, nalaglag
Nakiuso.
sila. Ako rin, malalaglag din ako. No.
Parang walang
hindi-
hurt feelings.
No. He took a very minor spill in another spot and rode the rest of the way with vice grip as a clutch lever. So nakauwi.
That makes epic rides, right? All of these little things.
Now that you mention it, you guys are absolutely right. Tama. I mean,
Ito epic
that's
talaga.
that's what
kasi
makes the
hindi
ride.
lang isa eh. Hindi lang isa
everybody
yung
gets home
sumembrang.
safe. All right, so you were talking about how when you started riding, you had an old $250 bike, and that also got you not just into riding, but also kind of like the DIYer, the man cave setup, and got you pushed you down that road. No, do you have any cool project bikes that you're working on or have worked on that you're super proud of?
Well, nung kasagsagan ng retro cafe craze, you know, 4 or 5 years ago. This was the first year of
I remember
motor
this
builds.
bike. Yep, I remember this bike.
And And the cafe scene was blowing up at the time, and I said, I want to build a legit cafe. I want to build a vintage cafe. And I didn't have any experience with a vintage bike. And when I say vintage bike, I don't mean a bike from the 1980s. I mean a rotten old bike that was in the grave. And I did that. I made that mistake that all first time vintage builders do. They fell in love with a ratty old bike and said, "Kaya ko tong ibuhay." And I did that. I took home I think it was a 1973 CB 500 inline 4, and I went to town on it. I learned the hard way how hard and how much of a labor of love it is to really go over every little bolt and screw, and I learned on that bike that every aspect of putting together a vintage bike. I hated it and I loved it by the end of the project, and it remains.
How many extra tools did you buy?
It was the best excuse ever to just keep buying tools, Kailangan ko ng carb sync, kailangan ko ng cylinder hone, kailangan ko ng,
that bike, you didn't just build a bike. You built your man cave around that bike.
That's the perfect way to put it. I've always I don't think the ratty old motorcycle was the only reason. I mean, I love working with my hands. Bigyan mo na ako, bro. I opened the door, but it doesn't mean you gotta come in, right?
Pigil na pigil si Bak dun, ah.
Napakagat sa labi.
Mami magalit na sponsor eh.
No, I mean, yeah. So you've built more than just bikes. I've seen you build like parts of your house, doorways, like all sorts of things.
That's my thing. That's my thing. I like building stuff.
Did you start off with a really cheap $250 house?
Didn't we all? But I think if there's something worth doing right, then there's nobody better to do it than yourself. And there's a certain sense of satisfaction that comes from knowing that you did it yourself. And that's the way I feel about certain parts of the house. That's the way I feel about that vintage bike that I put together. Parang when I looked at it by the end of and I built that over the course of a year and a half or something. And parang wow, I didn't know how to do this when I started, but look, I put it together and it runs, sort of, kind of.
So going back to one of your super fans,
ano naman ang sinabi
Echo
nila
is
ngayon?
saying, siya ang tunay na panday.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
That's hefty praise, man. Passing
from the panday himself.
Oh,
From the
passing the
panday
hammer to you.
Well, actually, the hammer has already been in my hand. Another one of my obscure interests is blacksmithing or bladesmithing.
Wow.
So I got into that for a while, years and years ago. It's something that I got heavily into. I think all tool appreciators and people who like working with tools, sharp, pointy implement is the most basic of man's tools. It's been that way since the time of the cavemen, and it's the most basic tool that you need. You have an edge, you will survive. Kahit saan ka ilagay, you'll find a way.
Parang primal instinct.
Ako
Make
kutsara
something
ang
point.
gagawin ko.
Mismo. Mismo.
All right, so this is how we end the Tunay Na Rider of the Week segment. And basically, what is it? How would you define being a real rider? Ano yung tunay na rider para sa'yo?
Antayin ba natin ang comment ni Echo? Yun lang pagbasihan natin.
Daming comment.
Parang gumaganti yata siya.
Bago keyboard niyan.
Mahiya
cool. I mean,
Carter
these
ng
guys,
garage. Tunay na
these guys
rider,
are, these
Maple
guys are,
Bus.
these guys are all right. Schedule nyo na tong mga
Game,
tungkol na to.
game.
Get them on the show. Tunay na rider. I think I don't know how many people you've asked this, and they probably all say the same thing na. Teka, magsasalamin nga ako, babasahin ko nga itong mga sinasabi ng hayop na.
Ryan, can you please bring up yung mga post
Alam mo,
messages?
may nabubuo na akong
May
ideal Tunay na rider.
Nag-yoyosi.
May echo eh. Tinan mo.
Mamaya
May
drawing
bus,
natin.
Parang,
Pa-sketch natin sa police.
ito yung si
Pa-blatter
Iba to eh.
natin.
Si Iba to eh. Oh. Si Iba to eh.
Anyway, okay, back.
Gutom na yung mga kuting dyan sa likod ng garahe. Naririnig kong yaw-yaw ng
Si
yaw-yaw.
Jolly adopts a lot of little pussycat.
Yo,
He
I'm the
just
same
spent
way.
like 20
I'm the same
grand
way.
on a street cat.
Labas
I'm
mo nga
the
yung
same
pusi mo,
way.
Jolly.
Hindi gutom yan. In-hit yung isang pusa eh.
Oh, mag-stretching ka na, bro.
Kaya na-hospital eh.
Ha?
Alright, sorry.
Kaya naman
Back.
pala 20,000 ang inabot ng bill mo, bro.
Grabe, sobrang sising si Sisi. Rescue yung pusang yan.
Hindi ko tuloy mabuo.
I'm the same
Scooter
way.
nga.
We've got a cat orphanage happening in the garage as well. It's awful, but
Yeah.
that's the way it is.
But, that's good souls, man. Okay, so back to my question.
Sorry, yeah.
Tunay na rider para sa'yo?
Ang tunay na rider. I guess at this point in my riding life na medyo mahaba-haba na rin kasi to eh, no? And I've
30+
been
years.
Yeah, and I've been up and down. There've been years when I've lain low and not really kept the bike, and then there are years when I'm a little more active. And I'm not one of those guys who has tons of bikes. I've had very few bikes. I think it's just yung tunay na rider is you're authentic to why you want to ride. You're authentic to the reason why you ride. Some people might say, hindi yan tunay na rider because he takes his car. Eh, kung bibili ka ng plywood, dalhin mo ba yung motor mo? Hindi na ba? So, I mean, it's not measured by choosing a bike over a car, I think. It's not measured by, I ride my bike 365 days a year or whatever. It's just being authentic to why you ride and to ride that way. Some people like to cruise, some people like to race, some people like to Starbucks, some people like to Sagada, and those are all different kinds of riders, and they're all legit in their own way. Kanya-kanyang trip, diba?
So for you, it goes down to the why, right? So if the why that
goes
drives
down.
you, and we're all connected
Or
by
if
that
it-
passion.
Yeah, and I think it has to be clear. You've had to have sat down and asked yourself, "Teka, ba't nga ba ako mahilig sa motor? Why do I like riding? What is it about riding?"
Para
that I like?
kasama ko pogi. Yun ang dahilan.
Yeah.
So tunay na rider ba ako? Dapat mga gwapo yung mga kasama ko at tulad ni
Well,
Paolo.
pwede kasi yan din naman ang pakay ko kung bakit ko kasama tong mga hinayupak na to. Tingnan mo, nagko-comment pa rin yung sawa eh. Dude.
All right. And on that note, that was Tunay Na Rider of the Week. And we're
Yo,
gonna hand
thanks.
it off to Meme Moto, where we look at what's
Teka.
happening in the biker news. What?
Mag-ano
wait,
muna
sorry.
tayo? Ano
May
yun?
raffle!
Raffle,
Right.
yung bilog-bilog.
These prizes are brought to you by Touratech.
O yung mga di pa nakakasali, mag-ano kayo?
Pwede ba sumali ang mga guests? Pwede ba sumali ang mga guests dito? O,
Oh,
teka,
sure.
paano ba
Of
sumali?
Oo.
Sumali nga si Alvin
Ano tayo,
Dio.
ano?
Nanalo pa nga yung...
Okay, wait.
Sumali yung
Before we
speaker
spin the wheel, I just want to say this is just our excuse to give stuff to our friends. So you see Mel Aquino, Ruel Maranan, these are all just mga tropa natin.
Ito, pasok
Alright.
na yung mga pangalan nito si Jericho Rosales. Hirap na to eh. Javi Ulises.
sige,
Ito,
ne.
isa pa to.
Tatlo, lagay natin tatlong pangalan niya.
Rules.
Mamaya, yung may raffle pa mamaya sa outro.
Lahat,
Sama
lahat,
natin
lahat.
sila doon.
Lahat Jericho
All right,
Rosales,
let's
mamaya
spin that
yung wheel.
wheel. Ano naman? Pangatlong beses na
naman?
yan ah.
Oy, Leo,
Ano
tama
yan?
na.
May daya na yan.
Ulitin na. Tatlong beses na yan. Sorry
Gusto
ah.
namin i-share, pero
One more time.
One more. Nandadaya. Ano yan? Hacker yan.
Yan.
As per DTI,
Yun.
FBI permit number, ano ba to?
Yun.
Grace Ignacio, please message us. If you do not message us, we will not know where
We
to
will
send your
forget.
prize. And we will forget. Just like we have forgotten everybody else's. All right.
So,
Ayos.
pag nanalo
Yan.
ka, kailangan mo i-follow up sa amin.
Luto. All right. Okay, so next is we're going to talk about what's hot in the motorcycle world with Meme Moto. We usually use memes, but you know, this is basically yung mga chismis ng mga riders that we share in message groups.
Oo.
And
Binabago
this
na
is
namin yung definition ng meme.
Buck Pogi.
Game. Mimoto na.
Mimi Moto.
Mini moto.
Medyo scary yung mga memes natin ngayon, di ba?
Maulan kasi ngayon.
Gubulaga.
Kaya maraming
Malalim
na-aksidente.
Mm.
So
Ayun.
everybody's seen this, man. And then there was a video that came out yesterday. Diba?
Na the other side of story daw.
Oo. That the
Diba?
car was on the other side kumakain sa Corbada. Have you seen this, Pao? The video of this? Everybody, all of the biker groups are sharing it. Luckily,
I've seen the stills. I haven't seen a clip.
so luckily the guy walked away.
Nasa hospital ngayon.
Nobody, you know, it was like a walk-awayable accident.
Okay, I mean,
but
it looks bad,
was still
pero
scary.
Buhay
Grabe
lahat.
yung impact, oh. Pero
Oo.
no? Hindi siya tinamaan masyado, considering the damage.
Well,
Doon ako
he was-
dahil din sa leathers niya.
One, the
naka-gear
takeaway
siya.
is he's wearing a good helmet, rated. Naka
Ayun.
Alpine Stars siya na full leather. So always, I mean, if you're gonna, you know,
gonna
gear
crash,
is really
make sure-
important. Yep.
Maganda pala Alpine Star. Pa-sponsor nga tayo.
Oo. Tibay nun. Kung may nanonood na Alpine Star, di kami sponsored, pero we're open.
Pero yun
So-
nga, kailangan natin mag-ingat lagi.
Yep.
Kasi nakakalimutan ng mga tao regardless kung tama o mali. Or kasalanan
Kailan?
mo or kasalanan ng
Defensive.
iba. Oo, kasi motor ka lugi ka either way.
No matter what. And the guy was speeding up. So the engineer Jolly, 'di ba? Yung impact with that amount of
parang
power.
kahit sabihin mong mabagal ang takbo nila, tumatakbo yung kotseng pag ganun Tumatakbo yung motor pag ganun 'Di ba? So kung sabi 30-30, yung bangga nila 60. Ganun yun. Oo.
Ganun ba, engineer?
Ganun ba yun?
Ganun yun.
Masubukan niya.
Guys, ride safe, man. Wear the right gear.
Lalo
You're
na
palagi
maulan,
kang talo.
madulas ngayon. So,
Oo, yung
diba?
panahon ngayon, man, sobrang unpredictable.
But that, you know, I was so scared to watch that video. Like, I refused to watch stuff like that. But then when my friends were saying that, you know, the guy was okay, not okay, but I mean, like, he was able to walk away from it. I had to watch it to make sure that I learned why. I mean, it's kind of sadistic in a way, but every time a friend walks away from an accident, I'm like, what happened? What can I learn from it?
It's a lesson.
I've seen little stills of the what do you call it, the progress of that corner, and it's yung nakita ko is parang it's a classic case of, well, everybody was sort of on the border of the center line. You know, I think they're gonna argue endlessly who had a little bit more tire over the center line or not. But
Actually,
it
grabe,
looked to me like
endless nga yung endless yung debate dyan.
Maski
But it was
mag-argue kayo, nagbanggaan na kayo eh.
Ayun. But it was a classic case of target fixation, di ba? Yung the minute you look at something that ayoko pumunta doon, I don't want to hit that, pupunta ka talaga doon.
Yep.
And that's, to me, that's also what it looks like what happened. The rider and the car both saw each other, and they He just unfortunately kept
They
going.
just, yep.
Parang yung mga
Yeah,
usa
you know,
na
aside from-
nagpi-freeze.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
si-
Aside from wearing the right gears, invest in some training. There's nothing like it. It really
Correct.
improves
Oo,
your riding
tama.
life.
So mag-training
Um,
kay Mel, bili kayong Alpine Star.
Hindi.
Mismo.
Sorry, hindi tayo I just spent a ton of money on gear yesterday, and
Okay.
it was all because of Benji Cruz in Moto World, who just said, right gears lage, Forma boots. So I bought some riding jeans.
Winky
Because I'm a
maganda
touring
forma.
I
Maganda
love Forma. Hindi kami sponsored, but I've
Hindi
used
lang
them for over
performance,
20,000.
pang forma pa.
Performa. Ma-forma.
All right. Next
Next
slide.
slide,
Hey,
next
Boss
slide.
Benji, thanks for joining us.
Ito nakita ko to. Actual ko nakita.
Ano nangyari dyan?
So,
Nakita mo
may
to?
Doña Hema dito. May
alam ko
binangga.
to, alam ko to.
May binangga
Nasunog
daw
to eh.
na motor sa Gilmore. Kinaladkad niya hanggang Doña Hema di.
Malayo
What?
yun ah. Kilometro.
Oh! So, syempre may
ba't
spike yung motor.
Ba't lumiyab yung kotse?
Lumiyab muna yung motor. Syempre, kinakaladkad mo yung tangke, whatever, may nag-spark.
Ano,
So, parang-
niya?
Liliyab talaga.
Tinakbuhan niya.
Hindi na siya nakatakbo kasi nasunog na siya.
Wow.
Confirm ba to? O baka naman urban legend lang to.
Hindi,
Did somebody
confirm.
actually-
Dinaanan ko yan,
Nap-
nandun ako. Tapos,
Napanood ko sa Facebook Live
sabi
eh.
nung driver, hindi niya raw napansin na may kinakaladkad siya.
Mhm.
What the
From Gilmore to Doña Hemadi.
pa-check niya
Okay.
siguro yung hearing niya tsaka eyesight siguro.
Oo.
Oo.
Or tulog siya habang nagda-drive from Gilmore to Hemadi.
Gabi ba?
So,
Gabi?
Daytime, man. Tanghali.
Wow. Okay.
si Buck used to be with the BBC. He was a photographer and
Big black. Ano?
Oh, God.
Anyway, so, di ba parang imposible naman na hindi mo maramdaman na kinakaladkad mo yun.
There's nothing I can
Ano
learn from
nangyari sa rider?
Naka-roll out. So, nasa safe naman siya. Nasa hospital
Nasa
nagpapagaling.
Gilmore pa rin siya.
Oh, hindi naman. Tapos
Okay,
yung driver, kakasuhan.
Oo, yari yun.
Wow.
Ayun.
Grabe yan.
So, ingat pa rin. Ang daming
Again,
aksidente
ingat.
lately. Duda ko dahil maluwag na masyado ngayon yung quarantine. Naglalabasan na yung mga tao, excited mag-drive around.
Yeah,
At
that's
saka,
true. I'm
rusty
super
na
excited
sila.
to ride.
Rusty na sa driving
Nakakalimutan yung
skill.
mga basic street rules.
Ako,
Diba?
it's nakakalimutan mo yung street rules and it's just lack of practice. I mean, you're
Yeah,
rusty.
yeah.
Diba? Your
Tagal
reflexes
naman eh.
aren't as fast. Diba?
Pero
Minsan
di ba
sasam-
dapat mas maingat kapag pag alam mong
Pag ganun.
teka, hindi ako nakakapag-practice dapat
yeah.
doble ingat
Well,
tayo."
logic should dictate that, pero hindi naman.
Hindi
laging
common
nasusunod.
hindi common ang logic. Oy,
Alright.
shout out kay Brando Rosales. Good evening daw.
What's up, Brando?
Brando.
Uy! First time yata nito manood. Ngayon ko lang nakitang nag-comment to dito.
Kasi
Tatapos
yung
ba
mga gwapo nagko-comment ngayon gabi.
Oo.
Oh.
Tingnan mo, hindi
Rosales.
makaporma yung mga hindi makaporma yung
Iba
mga
talaga pag mga Rosales.
Lalabasan ng mga Rosales,
Next.
Next. Eto na medyo to. May nag-post nito.
piso goals.
Ang nakalagay sa text ay kung sa tingin mo kasya ka dyan, usap muna tayo. Tapos Sun Life. Di ko alam kung Sun Life ang nag-post nito, pero dahil may nakalagay na piso goals, mukhang naghahanap ng downline yung ahente nito.
That's a good picture.
Paki-zoom out nga ulit direct.
Ang tanong ko, yung kumuha
Yan.
ng picture niya, buhay pa ba?
That's
Yan
a
hindi
big
ko
You
alam.
How
Sana.
many times have you been in that position na may truck, dalawa o bus, and you're like, kasha ako, pero gagawin ko ba? Like,
Ako parang
diba?
ako parang sure ako kasha ako dyan pero gagawin ko ba?
And sadly, most of the time, I say yes. That's why I'm like, okay. But it's happened so many times that you're in that situation. That's a great picture. That's a great
Ako,
freaking ad,
Takot
actually.
na takot ako dumikit sa mga lorry na yan.
Uy, may episode sa Mythbusters, yung kapag pumutok ba yung gulong yung kapag pumutok yung gulong ng mga lorry, tapos nakamotor ka, pag tinamaan ka ng gulong, mamamatay ka ba?
Ay, yung person nung hangin.
Pag tumalsik yung gulong?
Oo.
Well,
na-confirm
Hindi,
nila.
hangin lang yun.
Lethal.
Hindi gulong.
Hindi, kasi kapag pumutok, natsambahan ka tamaan ng goma.
Yung goma. Okay.
Oo. So, may...
Hindi, sa case nito, kung nandun ka sa gitna, tapos pumutok yung nasa kaliwa, patay ka dahil masasagasaan ka nung kanan.
Well, kapag nasa gitna ka ng dalawang lorry, there's like 1,000 ways to die.
Anyway, good ad, move on. All right, and that ends
yan na yung
dark segment this week.
Grabe, ang dark
naalala
ito.
mo, pinag-usapan natin yung about sa mga insurance.
Dapat mag-share na tayo, magbebenta na tayo ng insurance. We need to, yan ang angle ni Buck.
So,
naging ahente siya ng Sun Life.
Mag-aanap na tayo ng pwedeng sponsor na insurance sa atin.
All right, so next up is Engineer Jolly Alarcon and Oro Plata Moto. Oh.
Pinakamaganda OBB ko may audio.
Oo nga, special ka. Love ka ni Ryan.
So anyway kasi, si Iba kasi sobrang smitten ngayon. So one of the weirdest bike that I have ever seen. So gumawa kami ng parang tara pag-usapan natin ng mga weird bikes na ginawa ng Honda. Honda's been making weird bikes ever since.
Top 10.
So I compiled the list ng mga top 10 weird stuff that Honda made.
So what do we have? Engineer Jolly.
Meron tayong slide. So number one. Number 10, pa-countdown tayo eh.
Okay. 10.
So, number 10. So ito yung the M80/M85 Honda Juno. So boxer engine siya. Shaft drive. Hydraulic yung clutch.
So obviously inspired by BMW to. Obviously, right?
Well, actually. Pero kasi ito yung unang scooter ng Honda na ginawa nila noong 1961.
Yeah,
So,
post-war era.
I think talagang di lang talaga nila alam yung ginagawa nila at this point.
Tsaka never naman sila nag-boxer eh. So,
Yun na nga
namang...
Talagang parang, gawa tayo ng bike.
That's interesting though. Like,
Kasi yun, luck.
may pagkahawig sa cab
Yun na
although
nga
wala
diba?
pang cab nung panahon na yun.
Fiberglass, what sets this apart compared to yung Mitsubishi Rabbit? Yung mga scooters na uso nung gawa sa Japan.
Fuji yung Rabbit.
Fuji Rabbit pala. Tapos yung Mitsubishi
Pigeon
yun, di ba? Baka lahat yun eh. Itong Honda, fiberglass.
Ano
Kaya
yung Juno? Ibon din ba yun? Or animal?
Hindi ko alam.
engineer siya. Hindi siya
biology.
zoologist. Zoologist.
Ayun.
Ikaw pa, what do you think of the scooter, man?
I can dig it, yeah. Okay to. Medyo kakaiba.
I kind of like it.
And yeah, I kind of dig it. It's weird. It's weird. I dig it.
First, diba? For a first scooter na ginawa ng Honda, it's a very nice.
Ilang cc yan?
85.
So, 42 yung kabilaan.
Zoom in yan.
Siguro. Boxer engine. Ay, hindi pala. 125. 125cc siya. Na boxer. Weird. Kumakabig siguro yan pag ginagasan mo. So anyway, only 6,000 made. Ever. So,
wow.
Rare bike. Next. Ito, alam to ng mga tao.
Yun.
Yeah.
So, yung
Bucket
monkey.
list bike ko yan.
Pero ito ang alam kasi natin common lagi is yung Z50 na monkey na ginawa noong 1974 onwards.
74. Eto, 61.
Ito, 61, Z100 monkey. So, it was made a full decade before the production monkeys.
But that's not a 100cc, no?
100cc siya iba.
What?
Ito kasi yung kwento nan. Yung Z100 monkey was made in 1961s, a full decade before the Z50. Pero what made it so special kasi parang less than 100 lang yung ginawa ng Honda. Kasi doon sa Suzuka circuit sa Japan, yung sikat na racetrack, they were renting out, parang kinonsay ng Suzuka Circuit yung Honda na parang, uy Honda, gawa kayo ng bike na pwedeng gamitin ng mga walk-in guests na ira-ride around the track.
To ride around the track or as a pit bike?
Around the track. Talagang parang kung tourist ka, parang, ito, may
So parang amusement.
Amusement,
So,
parang for rent, talagang yun lang.
Galing.
Tripan lang talaga nila. So yun, so naging patok na patok. Tapos yun.
So hindi
the
siya
rest,
hindi siya available for public.
naging available, never siya naging available to the public. Pero kasi, when Suzuka Circuit liquidated these bikes, syempre well-maintained yung mga to, syempre iba yung galawan ng mga Hapon. Binenta to in-auction off yung mga Z100s. Tapos walang bumili kasi ano ba yan? Ano ba yan? So yun. So kapag
Parang
may ganyan
camel na bata.
Kung may ganyan kang motorsiklo, it's crazy valuable right now.
Parang llama.
Di ba parang ang liit ng tangke, ang taas ng headlight, ang baba ng upuan. Tapos walang suspension.
Walang suspension, rigid siya.
Parang yung mga taco bike.
Oo.
Taco bike. So ito yung parang the first ever monkey
Monkey.
bike na ginawa ng Honda. Yung next bike natin, monkey bike pa rin. Pero medyo kakaiba.
Modern.
Oo. So ito, ZB50. The
Ito
monkey
yung
bike.
lolo ng Grom. I really want a Grom rin. That's also another one of my bucket list
Ang mahal
bikes.
ng Grom,
Ang mahal.
ng Grom. Grabe yung Grom.
Talaga?
May kulto yun eh. May kulto sa Japan. Grom.
Rurusi na lang ako tapos lagyan ko ng sticker.
So, yun, Monkey R. Ang nakakatawa dito, it's a variant of the Z50 na Monkey, pero road-going version. Pero kasi what sets this apart, hindi siya basta-bastang kinope lang yung frame tapos nilagyan ng road tires. Talagang ground-up redesign siya. Tignan mo yung frame, aluminum na parang Delta.
It's an aluminum,
Delta.
yeah.
Monocoque.
Medyo kakaiba siya. No? It's a cool bike.
Tapos disc brake.
Both?
Harap lang.
Drum sa likod. No, drum sa likod.
Drum sa likod.
Ang liit niya.
Ang liit.
Ang liit oh.
Ang liit ng picture.
Ang liit ng bike eh. Walang high resolution eh.
All right.
Next weird stuff that Honda made.
This one
On the beat.
This one reminds me of Saturday morning cartoons.
Mukhang
Jetsons. That's the total Jetsons.
Diba?
Oh.
Tama.
Oo. Parang parang yung nag-design nito, ruler lang talaga yung gamit niya. Wala siyang protractor, wala siyang compass,
Wala siyang
French
French
curve.
wala siyang French.
Wala siyang French curve, 'di ba? Ruler lang talaga ginamit niya eh.
Or baka nung pinaprototype nila, naubusan sila ng clay, tapos meron silang mga Lego siguro.
Medyo Lego. Oo.
Pero ang nakakatawa dito sa Honda Beat na to, FC50, yung kanyang chassis designation, two-stroke siya, na futuristic scooter. Ang nakakatawa sa kanyang feature is meron siyang VTAX, ang tinatawag nila. Valve something assist system.
Basically, power valve.
Basically, power valve siya. Pero yung
What's the
nakakatawa
power
sa power valve, di ba sa two-stroke, yung parang
Two-stroke, ano yun?
Yung biglang sisipa sa mataas, yun yung power valve.
Okay.
Parang siyang VTEC pang two-stroke.
Ano siya valve na binubuksan yung exhaust para lumaki yung exhaust.
Pag
So
mataas
mas
na
makakahinga mas makakahinga yung makina.
yung makina. Pero at
Mag-high
high RPM
RPM.
na siya. Yung nakakatawa sa VTAC system ng Beat, hindi siya automatic, iba. Meron siyang pedal. Nakala mo
May
brake.
turbo. May turbo
Oo.
pedal.
So, ang nakakatawa dito ngayon, yung VTAX, pwede mong apakan kahit mababang RPM. Pero instead na bumibilis yung bike, humihina lalo yung takbo.
Babagal.
Kasi mababa pa RPM niya eh. Wala pang hatak eh.
Narululod pa.
Iintayin mong tumaas ang RPM, so aapakan mo yung preno. So parang meron siyang boost pedal.
Si Benji Lopez daw may binebentang Grom.
Uy, magkano? Wag, post Next year, 2021, it'll be a better year. Baka may sponsor na tayo.
Yeah.
Alright.
So yan yung Honda Beat. Ito kasi, di ba mukhang Lego? Itong next bike natin mukhang Tonka.
That is a bike I really like.
Ito yung CT50 Motra. So,
Pangalan din, panalo yung pangalan eh. Motra.
parang
Motra.
parang,
Motra.
di ba ano yun? Yun yung kalaban ni Godzilla.
Mothra.
Godzilla. Well, Metro.
Mothra.
May 8 Mothra.
Hindi ako
pala,
Godzilla fan, pero
Grabe.
Kilala ko
galing
yung
kang
kalaban
Japan
niya.
back, di mo kilala si Godzilla.
hindi ako fan ni Godzilla. Kilala ko siya, pero
Hindi,
nakita niya
kasi
sa Pretil eh.
sila Bak, yung family niya has a farm outside of Mount Fuji. Yeah, all right. So every time Godzilla comes around, tinatapakan yung farm ni Bak.
Hindi ako fan. Pero kilala ko yung mga kalaban niya.
That's why.
Sama ng iba.
I hate you, Godzilla. Damn you.
Uy, Jolly!
So anyway.
hinga.
Yung interesting dito sa Motra, yung chassis designation niya is the CT50. Which is yung CT designation. Yun yung ginagamit ngayon nung bagong labas na upcoming bike ng Honda. Yung Hunter
Hindi, maski
Cup.
dati pa may
Yung
CT
Hunter
na.
Cub. Gusto ko rin
CT.
yun.
CT110 yung Hunter Cup.
There's a styling of the
May
Cub.
may
Medyo
lumang
ganito yung
CT.
dating.
The new one. I think it's out in Thailand, pero wala pa dito. That's a nice bike.
Yeah, I saw it at the Tokyo Motor. Ganyan din, dilaw. The styling was done up in yellow.
So, yung nakakatawa dito sa CT50 Motra, meron siyang 3-speed gearbox. Pero meron siyang 2-stage na gears. So, may high, may low. Parang,
Okay.
So,
parang
4x4 ah.
Parang 4x4.
so parang magiging 6-speed siya.
Technically, oo. Semi-automatic siya eh. So, nag-shift ka lang. Pero meron siyang isa pang lever na high, tapos may isang low.
What did they make this for?
Purely recreational. Proof of concept, di ko alam eh.
Ang hilig ng Honda sa ganyan.
Ang hilig,
Mga concept na ilalabas nila.
yun ang kagandahan din sa kanila eh. Kaya medyo trailblazing din ng Honda eh. Kasi hindi sila takot mag-experiment ng ganyan eh.
And like every 10 years, they come out with something crazy.
Pero yun nga, sobrang daming crazy stuff. May lalabas sa papatok eh.
Okay, go ahead, Pao.
I mean, just
Sabi ni-
agreeing na
sabi
not
ni-
everything that they put out becomes a success. I mean, some of them seem like
Well.
good ideas on paper. I mean, it's not only Honda that does it. I mean, everybody does. But
I
mean,
can't
like,
imagine like any Yamaha. Like,
Nagagawa ng
I can't
ganyan.
imagine a Yamaha that's as crazy as these bikes. You know what I mean?
Yung Suzuki meron nilabas na counterpart niyan. Suzuki RV90.
Okay. So
Meron ako dati nun eh.
May pumapatol din pala.
Parang uy.
I think that it's
Kaya
like
nga
every
natin.
10 years, as a gift to their engineers, they let them design whatever they want. And like,
yeah, maybe.
Or naglalasingan sila every 10 years.
oh, I've got this idea.
pagising na lang nila may blueprint na sila.
May bike na.
May bike na.
Parang
Pagis-
ano lang
Oh, ano to?
Parang toko party lang yun ah. Naglalasing lang, pagising nila may bike na.
May bike na.
All right, next.
Next, ito malaki-laki yung bike ito. Yung picture na ito Honda AX1, si NX250. Yung NX designation sumikat yan dun sa Dominator NX650.
It looks like a
Nauna to.
Dominator.
Nauna to sa Dominator.
Pero Dominator kasi late 80s na. Si AX1 was a full decade before. Kasi 1980 sarado nalabas to.
1980.
1980. Ito 87 yung nasa model. So matagal din nila ginagawa yung bike. Matagal nila manufacture. Yung nakakatawa dito, wala pang adventure bikes nung panahon. Wala pang notion ng adventure bikes nung panahon. Actually, Honda, di rin nila alam na gumagawa na pala sila ng adventure bikes din nung panahon. Diba,
Ang tawag kasi nila
pero
dun sa
dual
ganun, dual sport eh. Nung panahon na yun
Oo.
Wala pang long way round eh.
Wala pang Parang they made a bike na doesn't fit in any single genre.
category.
Parang
Yeah.
on,
Pero I
on
think,
off.
yun nga, parang what's
On
in a
off-road.
name, man? Like somebody said, yeah, I mean, these just used to be called big dualies, diba? Big duals.
Big
Yep,
enduros.
Before nabansagan silang adventure bikes, they were just
Adventure
known as
bike.
big duals.
Pero ito the fact na they were making this bike for more than 5 years, ibig sabihin nun may following to. They were actually selling some of these bikes.
So ito
Hi,
yung
Sophie.
predecessor ng Africa Twin.
Actually, mukha siyang Africa Twin, yung may twin headlight. Oo.
Si
Alright.
Sophie nanonood.
Oh, sino?
Tsaka,
Oh, hey Sophie, what's up?
ano to? This is like is that a 21? Is that a 21 up front? Or that's probably a 19?
21.
Na mugs, no?
It's a cast,
21
it's a cast wheel na 21.
21.
Yeah, that's unusual.
Tsaka gusto ko
Na
yung
parang
mask.
kalesa yung design.
Parang parang logo ng Yamaha ironically.
Oo, inuurat nila Yamaha. Gawin na. Let's do a pitchfork
Kara,
mug wheels.
Kara and Sophie Tarok. Sophie Tarok is one of our most hardcore fans, man.
Lodi
We're
yan eh,
lucky to
Lodi.
have her watching tonight.
Lodi.
Lodi Sophie. All right, next.
All right, next bike.
Bye.
Ito modern naman. Yun. Honda.
Parang
the
na-stretch yung bike.
DN01. Hindi, yan. Kala ko talaga hindi
Sobrang
talaga
bilis.
na-stretch yung picture. Ganun talaga yung itsura ng bike.
Hmm.
So, yan yung Honda DN01. Kasi dapat may zero sa
DN?
Oo. DN01. NSA 700A, yung chassis designation. Actually, gusto ko dito sa Honda, lahat ng bike sila may chassis designation. Parang kotse.
Oh,
So,
parang
yung
VIN
DN01,
identification.
iba, 750cc na V-twin.
Wow.
Engine.
750.
Tapos, fuel injection siya. What's weird about that bike, besides yung futuristic na mukha siyang na-stretch, fully automatic siya. Clutchless, shiftless.
So parang touring bike siya.
Parang siya scooter na V-twin.
Parang scooter.
Ano yan? CVT or yung parang dual, ano ba yun?
Yung DC.
Dual
DCT.
clutch.
Oh, DCT.
Dual clutch
So,
transmission.
Oo.
It's the same as the XADV.
Oo
pero
nga.
kasi ito,
V-twin.
mukha siyang big bike.
Oo.
At saka
oo.
V-twin siya.
Oo, parang big bike na ginawang scooter.
Tama
Yung
si
ADV,
Ruel.
Yung ADV, big bike, scooter na ginawang big
si
bike.
Gabi.
Ayun,
Scooter na
gold
gold
wing.
wing.
Yeah. So, ano siya, di ba? It's a backbone bike, pero may floorboard siya.
Floorboard yung apakan niya.
Oo nga, no? Oo nga, no? It's a gold wing. It's an
It's a
automatic
cruiser.
gold wing. Yeah,
Pero
yeah.
ano siya
Actually,
ang target
brake
daw ng
pedal
Honda
ba yun?
Cruiser
Brake
pedal ba
nakikita ko?
Oo, brake pedal yan. May ganito dati sa Ropali Classics. Naka-display.
Talaga?
Oo, meron. May nagpagawa sa
Ay,
kanila.
Aldous yun.
At saka sa HSDC, may naka-display na ganyan dati. Nagpasok sila dito, mga 5. Cruiser siya
Galing.
dapat. It's
Not
supposed
my
to be a
type
cruiser.
of bike, but it's, I mean, you can see,
Parang sports cruiser.
They broke the mold.
Oh, nawala si
Bike.
Iba, nakik din.
Oh, nawala si Iba.
Oh, nakik ng Facebook.
Nakalimutan ni Grace magbayad ng bill siguro ulit.
I'm here, I'm here.
Ayun, si Iba. So yun, next natin.
Parang dolphin.
Yun.
Yeah!
Yun. Ito yung next bike ko.
Grabe.
Eto, you see how popular this was. Lahat tayo nag-react. Yun!
Grabe
Ayan na! Yan! Yun!
Yun na.
Oh, sa
Nakakatawa
anime
pag-
ko nakikita yan eh.
May video to sa YouTube. May nagda-drag racing sila gamit motocompo.
Solid yan.
So this was free with the Honda Civic before, right? Parang
Yeah,
yun ang promo nila.
You couldn't even buy.
Oh.
You couldn't. If I understand, you couldn't even buy the bike separately. You had to buy the whole car to get it
Bibilhin mo
in
yung-
the car.
Oo, bibilhin mo yung kotse, tapos bibilhin mo pa yung option of getting that bike.
Yeah, it was yun. It was an
Pakita natin
accessory to
ano.
the car.
Pakita natin ang next slide.
Ngayon, marami sa Valenzuela niyan.
Ganyan mabali yung motocompo. The funny
Galing,
thing dito
galing.
the funny thing about this, yung unang Honda Today yun eh. Honda Today at saka yung Honda City na una. Those two cars were designed around the Motocompo.
Oh.
So yung size nung trunk nung Honda Today at saka nung Honda City nung unang panahon
Was determined by the bike.
was determined by the Motocompo.
Libre din ba yung parang folding chair at saka tennis racket?
Parang pinapalabas silang parang folding chair lang. Parang ganyan lang kadali mabali yung Motocompo. It's like a folding chair. Parang ganyan.
So figurative.
Kasi,
Akala ko
because this car was so compact and it could really only fit the Motocompo. You needed the Motocompo there dahil pag na-flatan yung kotse, kailangan mo lumipat sa motor dahil walang spare tire. There wasn't any space for a spare. So pag na-flatan ka,
idea na yun,
huwag ka na maghanap ng spare, di ba? Sakay ka na sa
tire.
Pero pag naubusan ng gas.
Naubusan ka ng gas mismo. Kasi the car was so small, wala na rin gas tank yan.
Wi-Fi na yan eh.
Ito yung ito yung simula ng mga K-cars sa Japan, yung sobrang liit ng mga kotse. Parang kung sobrang liit ng mga kotse nyo, kami may kasamang motorsiklo.
Yeah, no, but I think, I think this kind of goes back to the point we were making earlier, diba? Na parang, mobility is mobility, and this is what it was all about. Parang sa kanila, diba? I mean, we've all taken a trip out to Japan. Si Baknat, nandun sa may Mount Fuji, diba? There's parang, diba, ang liliit ng mga kalye nila. So their houses are small, their streets are small. So parang it's really a reaction to what the current conditions are there. And I think the current boom of motorcycles here, I'm sure you discussed this ad nauseum, is yun, parang they created this Motocompo because of their conditions there. Ang lilit ng kalye nila, ang sisikip, and parang there was just a need for something like this.
I can imagine having something like that now. But
like an electric one. Yeah. I've seen electric bikes like these.
Si Honda naglabas ng concept bike. They're releasing an electric Motocompo.
Yeah.
Wow, that's gonna be awesome.
Ito, mas maniniwala ako kay Ruel Maranan. It was initially designed for a hub and spoke concept. You park the car and move around the city using the scooter.
Kasi sa mga ibang bansa, you have big parking lots outside of the city to decongest the city center.
City itself.
And then you will commute to the city center where you work. So instead of commuting... Yeah, go ahead, Pao.
Oh, no, I was going to say, you'd probably you could imagine yourself carrying this a big suitcase onto a subway train, diba? Or something. Get on a train or get on a subway, get out, and then it's kind of like the way those electric scooters or those electric kick scooters are used now. Diba? Parang people get on the LRT, and then they take the scooter on, and then they move on further with the scooter. Parang it's just the next step of this kind of a concept.
Parang folding bike.
Tila may comment nga ni Doc Rolly, sabi niya, baka pwedeng i-check-in rin sa aeroplano yan.
Pag walang gas.
Oo nga, may gas.
Oo.
Di ba? Pwede.
Pero ang galing nga, kasi based dun sa mga na pagkwentuhan natin, this was a response from a need, unique doon sa Japan siguro eh. Pero sumikat siya kasi it's a unique concept eh. Like kung American ako, pagtatawanan ko yun eh, pero parang, uy, cool yan ah.
Yeah.
Pero
a 50cc bike hindi pwede sa US. Like limited use talaga yun.
No, but I think But I think attitudes are changing also in the US. Parang when you watch a lot of features and reviews now, they're talking about small displacement Chinese bikes in the US. Parang
yung mga Tau 50.
Mga maliliit, diba? Although I get where he was coming from, but just the way the geography is set up there is it's just endless highway miles from one part of town to another. So you need something decent. But I think in the urban centers, small bikes are making headway, and I think
that's true. That's why you also have those rental scooter thingies, right? Those push scoots that you can rent. All right, Jolly, next. Right. But this is on my bucket list, definitely.
Next bike, baliktad naman.
Wag ka umiyak.
De, kwento natin kay Paolo kasi parang 2 weeks ago, hinaram ko yung Helix si Bak, tapos natibon ako ng kotse.
Oh, linabas niyo ba sa meme segment or
Whoops.
Yes.
Yeah. They made fun of
Alaskada si Jolly for a week.
eh,
Hindi,
sorry to
actually,
hear
hanggang
that,
ngayon,
bro.
Actually, hindi for a week eBay. Ongoing pa rin. So
I'm
anyway,
sorry
ito
to
yung
hear that,
Honda.
but yeah, that's a weird bike.
Ito yung Honda Fusion, tawag sa Japan. Nung dinala sa US, naging Honda Helix. Pero yung nakakatawa, itong bike na to, kinopya to. Unlike yung mga previous bikes, itong Helix, kinopya yung concept. So
Oh.
nagkaroon ka nung Suzuki Bergman, Yamaha Majestic, or yung Yamaha Morpheus.
So
Yeah.
hindi siya yung OG Maxi Scoot.
Siya yung OG Maxi Scoot. Siya
Okay.
Siya yung gumawa
siya yung
ng Maxi Scoot.
kinopya.
Siya yung kinopya. Okay, okay.
Yung formula ng meron kang scooter na malaki na pwede mong dalhin kahit saang malayo. Sobrang far-fetched siguro noong panahon. Kasi 'di ba scooters, 'di ba? Like parang motocompo lang 'yun eh. Last mile transport, yung pandyan-dyan lang. Ito Honda talaga gawa tayo ng scooter na pwede mong i-expressway. So, pwede mong
Ito,
dalhin malayo-malayo.
gagawa ka ng scooter na pwede mo gawin bahay.
Basically,
Oo.
iba yung Helix ni Buck, mas mahaba pa sa GS ko. Ganun siya kalaki.
Sa sofa, sa laset yan eh,
Sofa.
na kaya mag 70 miles per hour.
yun, parang it was a formula na sobrang wild. Pero pumatok sa tao to the point na yung mga competitors actually copied that formula.
Right.
Tapos,
I wanna
Helix- Yeah, sure, go ahead.
And I wanna ask parang like for someone like Buck, or parang owning one of these now, is it the formula, is it the shape, or is it the fact na retro siya, it's kind of cool? It's why do you dig it? Why do you like it?
Ako? Men, komportable siya. Para talaga siyang sofa.
So
As in, parang
utile
cruiser,
value.
nakahiga ka talaga.
As in utile value, you like the way it rides.
Initially, yung aesthetics, ang ganda niya eh. Well, quirky,
Quirky.
reasons.
Medyo quirky.
Pero nung nagamit ko na siya, talagang ang ganda niya gamitin. Para ka naka-cruiser.
Okay, so I mean it works. Because I mean I've never spent any time on something like this.
Pag nabuo na, Pao.
Oh, pairan ko
Lapit
sa'yo.
na eh. Mga next week na darating yung mga parts na in-order ko for the Helix eh. Ito yung the funny thing about the Helix, it was started production noong 1986 hanggang 1988 to 87. Then ginawa nila, it was parang every year nag-i-improve siya. Like they were giving it like better carbs, better exhausts hanggang 1992.
Oh,
Hindi.
ito sabi ni Archie Garcia, Jason Maligaya had that and used to be Super Force and Marilaki back in the day. So this thing can handle.
Matulad.
Oh,
No.
Matulad yan,
Iba
matulad
si
siya.
Jason. Iba talaga si Jason Maligaya. Man, that guy can ride.
Yung Helix nakakasibak ng Aerox eh. Sa kalye, nakakatawa eh. Kasi overtake ka ng sobrang laki.
Jolly ko, correct lang kita ah. Ang
Oh.
last production date ng Helix is 2014.
Ay, hindi. Ano muna? 2002, diniscontinue yung Helix. Pero, nung diniscontinue ng Honda, nag-riot sila sa Japan. Nagkagulo sila. Na parang,
Okay,
"Balik yung
riot.
Then, talagang ang daming nagalit nung diniscontinue yung Helix. So, Honda was forced to put it back to production hanggang 2007.
Same year. Ng same year.
07. 2002, tama. Binalik yung production until 07.
Like what year is the one we're looking at on screen now?
Yan yung unang version.
Maski yung 2014, ganyan yung itsura.
O yun, so
Nagbago
parang
yun,
hindi siya nagbago. Medyo
Hindi
ganyan pa
talaga
rin yung dating
nagbago.
ng mga
Hindi
bago.
masyado. Pero like,
Oh.
Okay, so it's always got this quirky sort of look about it.
Which
At
is
saka
good
siya,
for
Paolo,
Buck. Kasi
fully
maraming
digital.
parts available.
fully digital yung display niya. Parang calculator. Parang Casio.
Okay. So confident ka naman pala na madaming pyesa, so binangga mo talaga.
Oh. Well, actually,
Mukhang ganun nga.
hindsight eh. Kasi nung nabangga ako, parang, oh shit, Google ako. Honda Helix parts. Oh my gosh, ang dami talaga. Parang may certification sila sa Japan na parang Helix only shop or something like that. May ganun sila.
Okay.
Talagang may kulto, may religion yung Helix sa Japan.
May
Alright.
simbahan kami niyan.
So maraming mahilix dito.
Mahilix.
Oh, God.
Tita
Joke.
Mahihilix.
What?
Tig-tig-tig.
Bigay nyo na sa akin
Alright.
yun, guys.
So,
Last
tama
but
yung
not
last 3 bikes mo. So, the Motocompo, the Helix, and then
Ito yung dahilan kung ba't tayo gumawa ng list na to eh.
may kasamang booth babe pa.
May kasamang booth babe.
Booth
Taga-Punas.
Sino yan?
Booth back. Bak yan.
Ano ba?
Yan pa rin ang damit mong suot ah.
Tsaka, ano bang ina-apply?
Para ako si
Ano
Batman
bang-
eh.
Ano bang ina-apply mo dyan? Parang lube, bro. Ano ba yan?
KY.
Parang,
Nasabot eh.
parang, alam mo bro, 20,000 pesos ang mapapagawa. Mapapa 20,000 pesos ka din dyan.
So,
Alright, so
medyo di nakalangan ng intro yung bike na to eh. Kasi
Yeah.
ito yung Honda XADV nung lumabas a few years ago. Parang anong trip to? Gagawa ka ng dual sport bike pero scooter.
Yeah.
Parang sa tingin ko namimiloso po lang talaga yung Honda na parang uso mga adventure bikes. Tara, gawa tayo ng scooter na adventure bike.
Tapos, nakakatawa dyan, sinali pa nila sa rally event.
Sa Gibraltar, no? Yung Gibraltar
Oo,
Rally.
at nanalo
pero,
pa.
pero private
hindi
yun
nila
eh.
sinali. Privateer yun.
Privateer. Hindi siya
Oo.
Hindi siya Honda sponsored.
Di ba yun?
Pero yung nakakatawa, yung Gibraltar Rally, nanalo yung XADV. Tinalo nila yung mga KTM tsaka BMW GS.
But if you look at the Gibraltar Rally, to be fair, it's just a whole bunch of random bikes. May Himalayan nga eh na sumali doon. It's just like a crazy fan adventure event.
Parang
and
wacky races, gano'n.
na adventure talaga. Parang it is like wacky races na Dakar.
Wacky race sa Dakar.
Oo. So any bikes pwede. It's more cost effective than going to the Dakar. But it's equally challenging. So that actually when I heard that, I was really impressed because I was like, an adventure scooter, like how does that work? How do you grip the tank? How do you stand on it?
That's my main hang-up. That's my main hang-up about the concept of an adventure scooter. Parang there's nothing to hug your knees against.
Yun. Pero
But, yeah.
effective yung ginawa rin ng Honda eh. Ako rin parang ang weird naman ng bike na to. Tapos may nagpahiram dati sa akin ng XADV mga 2 years ago. Pagsakay ko parang, oh shucks, ang ganda nga nito ah. Tapos may foot peg siyang tumutupi na kapag tatayo ka, may foot peg siyang na lumalabas. Then
So,
at saka the fact na naglabas yung Honda ng ADV 150. Ganun kaganda yung public opinion about that bike.
It's like one of the number one selling scooters in Europe. And so the reason we brought this up, the reason we came up with this concept is because I traded my pickup truck for it. So that is actually my XADV that a good friend of ours, Eric, shout out Eric Yongaren, took a glam shot with Buck Bago as the sexy booth babe next to it.
Yeah.
So I'm loving it. I'm really, really loving this adventure scooter, man. It's hardcore for someone who's soft on the outside like me. It is an adventure bike that's great for the city. It is a bike that I'm really enjoying. I didn't think I would enjoy it. A friend of mine just left it here, and I started using it a couple of times. And the quirkiness to it, all of the things that I didn't think I would like coming from a adventure bike. Like I've had a GS, I've had a KTM Adventure. It grows on you. It grows on you. So that is our number one weird Honda motorcycle. Jolly, a lot of people are liking this this segment.
Anong moral of the story natin?
Pare,
Don't be
innovate.
afraid to break the mold.
Innovate
Yep.
and drink sake.
And you can see na since its inception in the 60s, may continuity yung mga designs ng Honda, right? They are
Oo nga,
continuously
tama. Yeah.
iterating and evolving these crazy ideas.
Napapansin
At saka
ko,
ano,
parang lahat nung quirky designs nila, nagpe-favor dun sa automatic transmission, hindi ka masyado mag-iisip, parang gas and go.
Yeah.
Diba, maski yung malaki nila, yung parang Goldwing na scooter,
Silver Wing.
automatic eh.
Bakit walang Rockus dito at saka Zoomer? Jolly.
Well, kasi naisip ko rin yung Rockus at saka yung Zoomer. Pero kasi parang yung dalawang bikes yun culminated into the XADV.
That's true.
At saka maraming mga models ng mga motorang Honda na JDM lang.
Yun.
Japan
Ayun,
domestic
like yung,
market.
Yung Dax, tsaka yung Humming.
All right.
Parang Thailand dapat meron na to.
Meron ba?
Okay, so
Ay,
there's a
ako
head
na.
that keeps on popping into Jolly's frame. You wanna kind of introduce Jojo?
Kasi gumagawa kasi kami
Boyfriend
dito
niya.
Gumagawa kami ng CB77 na Super Hawk. So ito si Jojo. Oy, si Jojo.
Yun,
Nagte-text
okay.
yun eh.
Ayun yung Super Hawk eh. Ito. Well,
Saan
makina
yung
to
Super
dapat.
Hawk?
Ito. Ayan, yung Super Hawk. Well, what's left of it?
All right, and then Buck, let's do one more raffle. Brought to you by
Raffle
Turatech.
Kasama na ba si Jericho?
Oo, Jules,
Wala na, natulog
kasama
na
na.
yan.
Si Ruel
yung mama
Maranan,
eh.
isama nyo sa raffle.
Oh, Ruel Maranan,
Oo.
Jericho.
Tapos siguro mga 5 Jericho yung lagay mo.
Oh, yan. Oh.
Luto.
Akalain mo yun? Akalain mo yun?
Natulog na yata yung mama. Mukhang
Oo nga.
na ng bedtime na.
Hindi.
All right, spin that wheel.
Nagdugo daw kasi yung daliri sa kakatype.
May laki na oh.
Na naman? Nanalo na siya.
Isa pa.
Spin it again.
Isa pa. Di tayo titigil hanggat di na nanalo si Ruel.
Wait, nanalo na ba si Archie? Hindi pa, di ba?
Oh, akalain niyo si Archie ang nanalo?
Okay, si Archie pasado. One more. Tingnan
One
natin
more.
kung mananalo si Ruel o si Jericho.
Bigyan nyo ng KTM na t-shirt si
Ubusin
Archie.
na natin lahat ng mga binigyan ni... Yun!
Yun!
Congratulations. Jericho Rosales, you have won a KTM t-shirt and a set of DVDs that teach you how to ride off-road. Thank you, Alvin.
Malamang sa malamang mag-aaway
Tuwan-tuwa
kami
si,
kung sino mag-deliver kay Jericho eh.
Tuwan-tuwa si
Ay,
Archie
isa
na
pa.
nanalo siya ng KTM t-shirt.
Si Archie nanalo ng KTM t-shirt.
Archie! Congrats, bro!
Archie, donate mo na lang. Spin tayo ulit. We'll give Archie something else.
Isa pa.
Isa pa. We'll give something else,
Pagigay na
Archie.
natin lahat yan.
Ang yaman natin sa premyo.
Mayaman tayo
Oh.
sa kaibigan na nagbibigay ng mga stuff to us. Ito
Thank
naman,
you sa
Under Armour
Turatech.
naman. Under Armour naman.
Under Armour.
All right. Jules, one more time.
Nawala.
Nawala si Jules. Okay, one more time, Jules. We can do it.
Wait lang, mag-drawing na ako ng wheel dito. Teka lang, para meron.
Yung na lang, yung flower na ginaganon-ganon, no?
Hello.
Number. Pick a number.
Ayun.
Yan.
Yun.
Spin it.
Ah. Ay, hindi. Nanalo ng Turatech t-shirt.
Yun.
alam mo, unique yung problem natin eh. Kasi yung mga viewers natin, yung mga sponsors natin eh.
Yung mga viewers natin, sila yung namimigay ng stuff sa atin. One more spin.
One
Alvin,
more.
One more. Okay, we're done. Cesar Tolentino, Big Bird, you won an Under Armour shirt or a Turatech shirt. I'm confused na ako. But yeah, please message us. And back on that note, please take us out.
Yun. Oh,
Thank you,
basta,
Paolo.
Thank you, Paolo. Thank you,
Maraming
guys.
salamat. Thank you for having me, guys.
Lagi nyo lang tatandaan, since the road is wet, you have to be precaution all the time and don't speak when your mouth is full. Take your vitamins. Goodbye.
Goodbye. Thank you, everyone.